What should Flyers do after cleaning house? It has been a hectic few weeks for the Philadelphia Flyers. With the official firing of head coach Dave Hakstol on Monday, ending an awkward and uncomfortable weekend-long saga regarding his employment status, the team has pretty much completely cleaned house on the most important decision-makers in the organization after several years of consistent mediocrity. The general manager and assistant general manager are gone, with Chuck Fletcher and Brent Flower replacing Ron Hextall and Chris Pryor. Scott Gordon takes over behind the bench, at least for now, until they can figure out a way to get Joel Quenneville away or find another permanent solution. For what it's worth regarding the coaching job, Fletcher said on Monday he expects Gordon to coach the team for the remainder of the year, that he has not yet asked Chicago for permission to speak with Quenneville, and that everyone is a candidate for the job. Along with the management and coaching changes, the team also summoned its latest great goaltending hope to the NHL when it recalled top prospect Carter Hart and is seemingly ready to throw him to the wolves with the position in the shambles we usually find it in. He has played only 17 professional hockey games, all at the AHL level, and has had a share of struggles, .901 save percentage in the AHL so far. Now that all of that is out of the way, what exactly should the Flyers do now? While all of these changes will impact the big-picture outlook for the organization, they still have 51 games remaining this season with a roster that has alternated between looking like a sneaky dangerous team at times over the past few years, to a team that has looked like potential lottery team at others. With an upper management that is looking for after growing tired of Hextall's patience in building the team, that leaves quite a few possibilities on the table. Could they tear the whole thing down and start over? Do they try to salvage this season by making a big splash trade right now? Before they do any of that, the Flyers have to be realistic about they are in the standings. All of that points to a team that is most likely going to miss the playoffs this season. As of Monday they have the worst record in the Eastern Conference and are 8 points out of a playoff spot in the Metropolitan Division, and 10 points out of a wild card spot. That is a huge gap to make up, and if you take into account the team they are currently chasing for the third playoff spot in the Metropolitan Division is on a 93-point pace. That means the Flyers would need to record at least 66 points over their remaining games to pass them. That of course assumes the team, currently the Pittsburgh Penguins, stays on a 93-point pace, which is far from a given. It will probably only increase as it takes at least 95 or 96 points, or more, to guarantee a playoff spot in the East. That outlook is bleak, and is expecting a team that's played at a 74-point pace over the first 31 games of the season to play at a 104-point pace over the next 51 games. Is there anything that leads you to believe that is going to happen? Because of that, here is what the Flyers do. They shouldn't chase a short-term fix in an effort to try and salvage what is quickly becoming a lost season. That means trading a premium asset like a top draft pick or a top prospect for a veteran goalie, looking at you. It means not doing anything foolishly aggressive for the sake of making a trade. They shouldn't gut their core of veterans like, or even youngsters like, or. The veterans are still high-level players that have shown that they can be the foundation of a pretty good team, and it's unlikely they will get the better end of any trade involving any of them at this point. The younger players still have too much upside to give up on. What they should do is let this season play itself out. See if this team as currently constructed really did just need a new voice and a new direction behind the bench. See if this roster, which is not totally without talent, is capable of more than it has shown. And if they really want to be bold, maybe give Hart a bit of an extended look to see what he is capable of at this point, at least until he shows he cannot do it and needs more seasoning in the American Hockey League. Once the season ends they should have a better understanding of what this team is, what it has to build around, and what it still needs. At that point they can enter the off-season with a fresh approach, find their next coach, work to fix the holes they still have, and maybe even get a little more luck in the draft lottery like they did a couple of years ago when they won the number 2 overall pick in the draft and the opportunity to select Patrick. The problem with this approach is that is almost certainly what Hextall was going to continue to do if he continued to run the show, and that is clearly not something Flyers upper management wanted. This entire situation is a perfect illustration of what the Flyers organization is, from management all the way down to the ice, a wildly unpredictable team that is capable of almost anything at any given time. The only thing we should expect from them at this point is the unexpected. If nothing else, it will always make them worth watching. Is a writer for? Drop him a line or follow him on Twitter. There was some exciting hockey on Monday, yet there weren't a ton of performances where players put up gaudy numbers. Oddly, the only two skaters who generated at least 3 points were both part of a losing effort for the Predators. Josie stands far above from an all-around standpoint, which is why he's also standing above the Preds center in these 3 stars. Josie generated 2 goals and 1 assist in helping Nashville salvage a standings point after the Predators dug themselves a 3-0 hole against the Senators. Josie fired 6 shots on goal and logged 23:54 in ice time in that loss. The Swiss-born defenseman has been coming up big for a Predators team that's dealing with all kinds of injury headaches, including 2 other go-to guys like Hand. Don't be surprised if Josie generates some Norris buzz if he keeps this up, as he has 26 points in 34 games. Monday saw some strong goalie performances. His old team as Boston crushed Montreal, only needing to make 22 saves for a shutout. Didn't shut out the Avalanche, yet he kept off the board, which should at least earn him a kindergarten-style gold star. But Bob might have had the best night of any goalie. Bobrovsky stopped 28 shots for his first shutout of 2018-19. It's been a bumpy contract year for the Blue Jackets goalie, as you can see from his poor .905 save percentage. Don't count him out, though, especially since Columbus has been able to maintain a playoff position even without Bobrovsky authoring his usual regular season heroics. Honestly, this feels like the quintessential Ryan Johansson game. There was the very good, Johansson managed 3 assists, factoring into all of Nashville's goals. It's been a strong season for Johansson, who's generated 29 points in 34 games, even if his offense has cooled off with Forsberg and on the shelf. If there's one thing that's maddening about Johansson, it's that he shoots so infrequently, so it's fitting that he had 0 SOG on Monday, even with the Predators chasing the Senators for much of the contest. Johansson now only has 55 SOG in 34 games in 2018-19, which seems almost unthinkable for a top-line forward. But, hey, it's mostly working, so this is probably closer to nitpicking than a more profound critique. Probably? Chances are, more people will bug Johansson about him giving up the puck on pretty out-game winner, though, since December 12, has a hat trick, 6 points in 4 games overall, and also provided a goaltending audition. You may call these Ducks plucky. Nice fodder for Senators GM Pierre Dorion, who recently said that their rebuild might be ahead of schedule. Another reminder that Halak was a hab. Yaroslav Halak is the first goalie to record a shutout in Montreal as a member of both the Canadiens, Sportsnet Stats, Stats, NA4, Pit 2, CBJ1, VGK0, BOS4, MTL0, OTT4, NSH3, OT. Nye4, Kyle1, is a writer for. Drop him a line or follow him on Twitter. On paper, Monday was an excellent night for Barry Trotz and the New York Islanders. The Islanders topped the Colorado Avalanche 4-1, keeping the AVS scorching hot top line mostly in check. Grabbed an assist on power play goal, but was held pointless for the first time in ages. Also, with the Pittsburgh Penguins falling to the Ducks in regulation, the Isles regained control of the 3rd spot in the Metropolitan Division. So, the Islanders mostly contained the NHL's hottest scoring line, and with this win, would be in the 2019 Stanley Cup playoffs if they began right now. It wasn't all good news, though. 2 injuries hang over this win, and one brings potential controversy. As you can see in the video above this post's headline, AVS defenseman seemingly engaged in a knee-to-knee hit on Isles forward. Cole received a kneeing minor on the play. Ian Cole may be in trouble. Geared Brock Nelson, Michael Russo, at Russo Hockey, also, in attempting to deliver a hit, and eventually needed to be helped off of the ice. Following the game, Trotz didn't have much of an update. As Newsday's Andrew Gross reports, Barry Trotz says no immediate update on either Thomas Hickey, upper body, or Brock Nelson, presumed lower body. Andrew Gross, at Gross Newsday, Hickey came into Monday's game averaging 19.14 toy per contest, a career high, so it was clear that he was earning Trotz's trust. Nelson broke a 4-game pointless streak with an assist in this win, giving him 21 points in 32 games, good for 4th on the team in scoring. So these situations are worrisome for an Islanders team that's vastly surpassing expectations. Is a writer for. Drop him a line or follow him on Twitter. The Vegas Golden Knights have been gathering momentum lately, but Monday was not kind to them. Solid night wasn't enough, as the Golden Knights couldn't score a single goal against, falling via 1-0 shutout loss. Monday could end up being costly beyond what must have been a frustrating score, as appeared to suffer a knee injury during the defeat. Pacioretty wasn't able to return to Vegas loss. After the loss, Golden Knights coach Gerard Gallant said more information could be known by Tuesday. Gerard Gallant on the status of Max Pacioretty, who left in the second period what appeared to be a lower body injury, will know tomorrow. David Shane, Newspaper, Ice Hockey, at David Schoenlerge, Pacioretty was already dealing with a different lower body ailment amid confusion about an earlier unhealthy/healthy scratch, so Patches might need to rev up that Wolverine-style healing ability if he wants to get back into action soon. There was some fear that might have suffered a knee issue of his own, but he was, so at least Vegas might have dodged that bullet. Maybe. The Blue Jackets managed this regulation win, even with out of the lineup. Maybe it wasn't always pretty, but they're likely feeling better than the Golden Knights right now. Is a writer for. Drop him a line or follow him on Twitter. File this Monday fight under unexpected, as Nashville Predators center dropped the gloves with the Ottawa Senators. Turris was once Ryan's teammate with the Sens, but it's unclear if that had anything to do with it. Either way, when you consider the players involved, this was a fairly passionate bout. It looked like Ryan got the best of Turris, at one point seemingly leaving Turris dazed. It's been quite a while for Ryan, in particular, as his last fight happened against in March of the 2013-14 season. Turris, meanwhile, has, ranging from Tanner Glass to, with current teammate also included. Bobby Ryan declined requests to talk post-game, but his fight against Kyle Turris surprised his teammates. Ken Warren, at Citizen Warren, after falling behind 3-0, the Predators were able to secure a standings point by sending the game to odd at 3-3. The Senators got the last laugh, however, as scored this beautiful overtime game winner, is a writer for. Drop him a line or follow him on Twitter.